This week on Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV.
Hi and welcome to Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. On this week's show, you're going to be tagging along with me as I go on some solo turkey hunts. Now every spring I look forward to turkey hunting. Kurt and Jason are busy fishing and everybody else seems like they got something going on, and it's hard for me to find anybody that likes to chase turkeys, but I love doing it. Something about the springtime and going after these birds that gets me all jacked up. So stay tuned for some great solo hunts coming your way. Well, on this first hunt, I was headed down to the ranch to one of my favorite places I love to hunt turkeys. Now, I got down a little bit late, and when I was getting the equipment out of the tundra, I heard the turkeys gobble. Now, they were supposed to be on the other side of the river, and they ended up being a lot closer than I expected. So I ended up having to grab the muddy blind. I snuck down about 30 or 40 yards from the tundra, got the blind set up, and was ready to roll. Get to this point, those birds were going to be across the river, roosted over in here somewhere. But actually, they're like right on top of me. This is the farmyard I'm in, so I had to pop up the blind right by the buildings and walk it down here and be as quiet as I could. And it sounds like those birds are just right there. This way. Lights out. Now we'll see what happens. Well, they show me you should have been here. Well, that hunt went exactly as planned. The only thing I was wishing for is that Shelby would have been along for the ride. Because after I killed that Jake, as you see, after he died, the other Jake and the Tom came in, which a lot of times they will do. It's just something that these turkeys do. When anybody is wounded, if there's another bird that's wounded, they seem to pick on them. And that big Tom and that Jake hammered on that dead bird for about 15 minutes, which would have gave Shelby an absolutely golden opportunity to fill her tag. So once I had my tag filled, then what do? Well, I ended up going down to the Standing Rock Reservation and buying a couple tags down there. Well, before we get to the hunt, I'm going to take you out in the backyard and I'm going to kind of go through a little bow hunting 101 for turkeys. So let's go hit the backyard and get tuned up for archery turkey hunting. As you can see behind me, it's turkey season. We are about 4 days away from our opener here in North Dakota and I'm pretty excited. Levi and I went out the other day and we scouted turkeys. And I got to tell you, they're coming into a certain area on a string. And that's one of the things we look for here in North Dakota. Now the guys down south, they're in the deep swamps and woods and they're having to run and gun and call these turkeys. Where here in North Dakota, it's a little different. And I'm going to kind of give you some tips and tricks for killing birds in North Dakota. So we're going to talk a couple things. First, we're going to talk about the equipment I use. So we're running Hoyt bows. Any bow you want to use is great. We just like Hoyts. And the broadheads, you're going to want to use a mechanical head. And the reason I say that is, you want a big game animal, you want to pass through them and cut hard and fast. With a turkey, you want to cause as much damage as possible. So it's going to hit that bird, it's going to shock him, and it's going to cut him. Now, my turkey decoys. A lot of guys will spend a lot of money on turkey decoys. I know guys get kind of crazy just like they do with duck decoys and goose decoys. I have the flock from HS Strut. Under $100, you get a set of 3 of them, and it works great. You got a couple hands and a Jake, and that's all you need. Now the blind that we're hunting out of this year is by Muddy. It's called the Infinity 2. It's a great blind. It's got 180 view up front with some mesh so you can close it. You can see through it, the birds can't see you. And you can adjust your shooting lane to whatever fits your needs and what you're comfortable with. So we've talked about your bow setup, your decoys, your blind. Now for turkey calls. We run HS Strut. You've seen some of the videos I put out there. If you're a beginner, even if you're not a beginner, they have the cookie cutter, the spring yelper. They have a whole wide variety of different calls to fit your needs. And so go check them out online or go down to your local sporting goods store and try them out. Now for me, setting up your decoys. A huge mistake that I made early on is I set my decoys at 20 yards. Well, shooting a turkey at 20 yards is pretty difficult because they're a small target. So as you can see, I have my decoys within probably 5 to 8 yards of my blind. And the way I like to set mine up is I usually have the hens facing the blind. I'll have the Jake facing away. Some guys I know do other ways, but I like it this way because I think that a big Tom will see my Jake and he kind of gets challenged, so he's going to come in. He's also going to see the hens that aren't paying attention to him. And turkeys are no different than guys. If girls aren't looking at us and not paying attention, we're going to make sure we circle around so they get a glimpse of us. And so that Tom's going to come in. He may challenge a Jake. He may come in and circle around on those hens, but he's going to give you a close shot. And when I mean close, you're talking top pin. 10 yards and in is what I like to shoot turkeys at. And almost always we get them in that close because if they see those decoys, they're going to come in and just check them out. So now you've done everything right and a moment of truth comes. And that big old Tom comes strutting in. So now where do you shoot him? Now I can tell you this, there's a very small vital on a turkey, and if you don't pick that spot, you're going to blow right through him and he's going to run away and you're not going to see him again. So I'm going to throw up a couple little diagrams right here and it's going to show you. So when this turkey is coming at you full strut, I'm going to tell you to aim right above the beard and you're going to hit him right in the chest and it should go right through his body cavity and you should snap everything and you should be good to go. Now if they're coming in and they're strutting and they're rolling around or walking by you, coming by from the side, what I'm going to tell you to do is I'm going to follow that leg bone up. This is my favorite shot. Follow that leg bone up right into the drumstick and you're going to aim at the top of that drumstick and you're going to crush that drumstick. And by doing that, you're going to take his wheels out from underneath him. And a turkey cannot fly if he can't jump. And if he can't jump to get off the ground, he's not going to fly. He's going to run away, hobble away, and you're going to find him. Now the third shot, if he's strutting and he turns around and he's walking away from you, you're basically just going right up the old poop chute and you're going to take it right in through his body cavity and you're going to destroy everything. Beginning of the season, turkeys are really flocked up. and there's a whole group of them. And again, you can still call them in. It happens. We did it last year and we were successful. We were able to call in a couple toms, and it gave Levi an opportunity to take his first bird with a bow. And then later on that day, within an hour, I was able to call to a hen, and she broke off, came into the decoys, and of course, a big old tom followed her in, and Levi was able to get his double. So that was pretty cool. So there you go. Beginning bow hunting turkeys 101. Pretty simple. Just get out there, have fun, enjoy it. Especially this year with this coronavirus going around. Get out there with somebody that you've already been locked down with. You don't want to be spreading it to anybody or take a chance of getting it. But get out there in the turkey woods and have a good time. Whether you kill a turkey or not, I can guarantee you, you're going to enjoy it. So this next hunt is when I head down and have one of my best hunts ever. And it just kind of fell together. It fell in my lap. Didn't have a chance to get the blind set up, but this big old tom just came rolling in. Well, I finally got a nice day here, and I snuck down to the reservation. I'm gonna grab my gear. Saw about a half dozen turkeys about a half mile away. You know, one of the things you got to make sure, whether you're hunting the reservation or anywhere, is making sure you're on the right land. And especially on the reservation, there's things that are checkerboarded, and I'm on some property right now that is deeded land. Even though it's on the reservation, it's deeded land, so I'm not allowed to hunt it. But these birds are just down, looking at base map here, are just down on the bottom. I'll show you, and they're on the reservation land. So now I know I'm good to go. So I'm gonna grab my blind and my decoys, and let's see what can happen. This is just absolutely beautiful down here. Gorgeous. You can see where they've been at. I'm just gonna crest this hill, and I'm hoping I see him. Otherwise, I'm gonna call. There's a tom up there about 100 yards. Good, there's a deer. There's a deer running up the hill. Hopefully he's watching the deer, not me. Okay, he's up there. To set up the blind, I'm just gonna hunker down here. Let's get the decoys out. All right, here we go. He's coming. He's coming on the other side of the creek. How do you like that? I can't believe that worked. No blind. Usually I'm hunting out of the muddy blinds, but I just didn't. It's so quiet. I didn't want to set up the blind. I thought I'd spook them. They did not gobble. They gobbled one time when I was setting up, but he came right. I saw him come along the ridge. He cut across because he's hearing me over here, and I could hear him going through the leaves, coming up on the other side, and he went behind some trees and went to full draw, and I just pinwheeled him. He's dead right there. Unreal. Let's go look at him. Oh, he's a big old bird. I crushed him. Well, let's look, get him displayed. Look at that. Beautiful fan. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. Now that is the second bird I've taken with these Titanium X backflips, and they just crush them. Both birds total didn't go probably 20 yards. That's what you like. That's what you like. And I can guarantee it was razor sharp. Didn't do a thing to that broadhead. Second animal with the Ultra RX4. Super jacked about this bow. Been shooting it quite well. Not bad for an old fella. But I tell you what, you know, sometimes you just got to take a chance, and tonight was a chance. You know, my odds of finding the turkeys out here are pretty tough because there's not a lot of birds. Second of all, once you find them, and I did find them, just getting set up on them. And, you know, most of the time, my luck has been in the morning, and I get my blind popped up, my decoys out, and I just didn't have a chance to do that. And you can see the old HS Trio back there. I popped those up as quick as I could, jumped down in a little ravine, and the rest is history. These birds, the big guy just came strolling in, and probably I saw him at about 80 yards coming through the trees. I was in a perfect setup because I was behind of a lot of trees, and those trees gave me cover because I knew I'd need them to draw my bow. And once he crossed the creek and I could hear him going through the leaves, it was cool. I could hear him spitting and drumming. I don't know if you'll hear it on camera, but then he came out and he gave me probably a 20-yard, 22-yard shot, perfect broadside, and I just hammered him. So super excited. Well, on behalf of myself, all by myself, once again running the camera and killing turkeys. Just had a great time. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week, same place, same time. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful bird.
Taxidermy services provided by Dakota Taxidermy, capturing the spirit.